It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show.
The only show about Latinos for Latinos. And did we mention Latinos?
It's Latísima.
Latinos come in all flavors, shapes, and sizes. You don't have to be Latino to enjoy chips and salsa.
Everybody loves chips and salsa.
Welcome to the Chips and Salsa Show. This is Don Jorge El Alacran. This is Don Jorge El Alacran. We have a beautiful show and a great show to do today with a great candidate. Jeff Zink, and he's running for CD3, and he has a lot to talk about regarding CD3 and replacing Representative Ruben Gallego, and there's a lot of changes to be done, and I think Jeff Zink is a man to do it. So I'm going to introduce Mr. Zink, and he could tell you a little bit about himself, and then we'll go from there with more questions. Okay, Jeff.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks, George, for having me on the show. I love chips and salsa. I think that it's something that everybody needs to listen to on a daily and weekly basis and stuff. So if you don't have your chips and salsa, then you can't really do anything. But my name is Jeff Zink. I'm running for Congress in Congressional District 3. One of the things that makes me a little bit different, I am born and raised in the Texas Panhandle out of the oil field and the ranches and stuff, and basically a country boy with country values and conservative values. And what's really interesting is that most of the people here in CD3 are Latino. And what's funny is that they also have very fundamental conservative Christian values, which hasn't been in any shape or form in the Congress with the representative that we have now.
What kind of got you into running for the CD3? What motivated you?
Well, one of the things is my story started about 40 years ago. I was playing college ball at Texas Tech University. I was a 6'1", 230-pound defensive back. I took on a pulling guard that was about 6'9", 398 pounds. We hit helmet to helmet, and I ended up fracturing my neck. With that, I was left with migraine headaches. And those headaches started, as I grew older, started increasing in intensity and frequency. It got to the point where about 9 years ago, I walked into Burroughs ER with a blood pressure of 248 over 198.
Holy moly.
And yeah, I should have died that day. However, God had a plan for me. And so one of the things that happened was that the neurologists, they couldn't figure out what was going on. And I ended up becoming 100% disabled over those 5 years. And so I lived on a couch in bed and paced the floor for 2.5 years. What happened was on December 24th of 2020, I prayed a different prayer that night, which was, God, I don't want to live this life any longer, but whatever you want me to do, wherever you want me to go, I will do that, and I'll be your faithful servant. Well, as you're standing or sitting in front of me, George, God stood for me. And he basically told me, he said, I'm going to break your headaches. I'm going to restore your health, and I'm going to send you to Congress to represent my people. Now, I can tell you that I had a headache every day for 40 years, and I haven't had a headache since December 24th of 2020 at 3 o'clock in the morning. I can tell you that I could barely walk across the living room floor without being out of breath. And I'm literally walking 6 to 8 hours a day, 6 to 10 miles a day, knocking on doors, talking to good people, and finding out what their issues are. My health has been restored. The only thing left now is for godly men and women to vote their faith, and I will be the next congressman here in Congressional District 3.
About how many doors are you on the average knocking every day? I know you mentioned it. You wanted to say it again?
I'm knocking on about 150 to 200 doors a day. In the last 2 years, what I've been doing, I've basically gone over almost 20 to 21,000 people that I've come in contact with in the past past 2 years.
And you're continuing this on a daily basis, or what?
Yes, in fact, what I'm doing right now is I'm walking my neighborhood because I am a PC and which is a precinct committeeman. And part of my duties as a precinct committeeman is to hand out the golden ticket so that people know how to vote. So what I'm doing is I've got a golden ticket that has my name and everything on it exactly, which is exactly what Jorge is putting up there. And it has a list of Republicans that we should vote for. And then on the back, it has all the propositions that you need to vote for as well. And it tells you a little description about what it is.
And they're able to take this, once you give this to them, they could take this into the polling booth with them, right?
Correct. If anybody tells them that they can't, you just say, I know my rights. I know that I can take this in, and they can use that to vote. The other thing too that we're also telling everybody is that even if you got a mail-in ballot. So today, when I went to the mailbox, guess what was in my mailbox? My wife's mail-in ballot. And the thing is that both of us had said that we didn't want a mail-in ballot, but she got one anyway. I still haven't got mine. So we'll see if I actually did get it. But if anybody gets one, we want them to hold on to it and not open it. We want them to vote on the day of election, which is November the 8th. And what we want them to do is we want to take that ballot unopened, go in, and then ask them if they have voted. And obviously, they're going to take a look at the ballot and they're going to say, well, no, you haven't voted. But you go, no, I want you to actually check and make sure anyway and see if I voted. And if you have, then what you're going to do is you're going to call the police or the sheriff. And then the sheriff's going to come in and you're going to file a complaint. And the reason why is that your identity has been stolen. So we need to make sure that each person's vote is counted. And this is a great way to go about doing this so that you can make sure that your vote counts for this election.
No, that's a good idea. I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, saving those envelopes and taking them in is a really good idea. I work for the Maricopa elections, and I work at one of the polling places. So that's a very good idea, Jeff, and I'm glad you brought that up. And I'll be pushing that to other people. What is your step forward now? I know you're going to be knocking on doors. You're going to be at different events, correct? Am I correct?
Yes. So one of the things is that I'm going to piggyback on that. Now, people have also stated that they've wanted something to do that they feel like that they can do. You can go to an app called Votify Now, and if you download the Votify Now app, when you go into your polling place, if you actually observe something, or if you have an election box, a drop box that you witness people stuffing in multitude of ballots and everything else, you can pull that Votify app up, and by utilizing it, you can take video and photographs. You can put a description in, and you can send it via that app, and it will be uploaded. And then what they're going to do is they're going to take that information, they're going to reach out to the sheriff, and they're going to be able to file a complaint on your behalf. And the great thing about it is they will already know your name. They will know the description of what happened, and then they'll have your video and pictures, and the sheriff will automatically get that, and then they can do their own investigation. So it's a great way for people to take responsibility for their own votes, and to watch and to be on the watch if anything nefarious takes place.
Have you seen any of this take place, or is it?
Oh yeah, we've
Okay.
actually seen a lot of the drop boxes where people will drive up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and they'll stuff 5 or 6 ballots in there. They will drive off, and then they'll show up at another drop box, drop off another 5 or 6 ballots, and they'll do this to about 8 or 10 different places. We've also located some of the NGOs that are there, and those NPOs are people that are nonprofit organizations that we feel like are also explicit in this crime of doing ballot harvesting and collection.
Wow. Do you think we could create a dent in this, or is this something we can't control? Oh, and
Well,
maybe my go
it
ahead.
is something that that each individual can do. What you can do is, if you have a drop box in your area, get several people together, and then just have a set around the party and observe the drop box. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being 75 feet away, observing what's taking place, and if somebody drives up and they start stuffing it full of ballots and everything else, then you can start videoing and taking pictures. Take a picture of the person's face if you can get it. Take a picture of the driver's, the make and model of the car and their car license tag and everything else, and send it in to the sheriff and say this, and put a description in as to what you observed, and then say, this is not normal for somebody to come in to this drop box and put that many different ballots. I mean, for my wife and I, we only have 2 ballots, and hopefully, Katie Hobbs and all of them did their job this time, and I don't have a ballot coming to me. But if we do, then both my wife and I will make sure that we don't open it. We'll take it down and we'll vote on the day of election, which is very, very important, because they can't steal the election when you're voting on the day of election.
So the still comes with drop boxes and all these people dropping multiple ballots in different locations. 5 times 5 is 25 votes.
Oh, absolutely. And we've got record of people that actually made drops as many as 10 at 10 different places, and 3 to 5 different NPOs. And when you start looking at it and being conservative, just saying that there's only 3, that one time would be 30 ballots that would have been placed
Yeah.
into the drop boxes. And if they did this on a daily basis, I mean, it adds up very, very quickly. I mean,
Oh yeah.
7 days there doing 3 at each one of those stops, which is 30, and then you take that times 70. All of a
Or
sudden
7.
you've got 210 votes that have been that are now been cast, and we know that they're voting a certain way.
Wow. I hope we do something about that, because that's and it's going on. So we need to stop it. We need people to step up and watch these drop boxes. I know they have one at the Maricopa County has one. The stadium of the Cardinal stadiums have one across the street. So they're all around. Is there a way to get the list of where the drop boxes are?
Oh, absolutely. You can go on to the county recorder for Maricopa County. Steve Richards, very, very proud. He actually has about 214 different drop boxes all over the state of Arizona. So we need to make sure that all of them are accounted for, all of them are watched during this time between now which was the 12th of October to November the 8th. And the thing is that we need to make sure that we stop what's going on. And the other thing too is that we also need to contact your state representatives, your House representatives, and your senators, and make sure that and to let them know that you do not want any type of tallying machines. We want hand counting. So
I love hand counting.
Absolutely. And we can do this at the precinct level. It's very easy to do because as a precinct committeeman, I'm only responsible for 125 people. So if I have 125 people, and let's just say that I have a drop box that's there at my house, we have people come over to my house. We can be cooking hot dogs and hamburgers and everything else. People can go in and they can have the privacy. They can do a vote, put it into a ballot box. At 7 o'clock, once it's done, what I will do is I would open up that drop box in front of everybody. I would pull out all of the ballots and I would tally them in front of everybody. And so the thing is that once you get to 125, let's just say I'm extremely slow and it takes me 3 hours to do 125 people. And I've tallied them, everybody's watched me. Then what I do is I put them back in the box, I lock it, and I go down to the LD and I exchange my box with another precinct committeeman and they give me their box and we retally it. And so I look at their box and I count them. And then once we're done, we have two different sheets on the same box that has been counted twice. With that, then we sign that, it becomes an affidavit. Now, the two of us can go to prison if we have, miscounted or anything else. But the deal is that one person can't have more than 125 ballots in a box. So it starts limiting all of the adding of multiple ballots and everything else. And then once that's done, those two sheets can be sent to our Capitol where they're tallying everything. And immediately within, 6 hours from doing that, which would be about 1 o'clock in the morning, we would have the entire count of the Arizona. You can do this for Texas. You can do it for Rhode Island. You can do it for any state at the as long as they have precinct, and you're making sure that everything is done out in the open, transparency. We're doing honesty, and that's what's important. And we can restore the confidence back into our elections.
Okay, you're talking about precincts that are controlled by the Republican Party, or are you talking about precincts with Republican and Democratic Party and Libertarian?
Well, they can each have their own, and they would be responsible for their own. But again, remember, the most that a person can have is 125. So each precinct committeeman, because we've got in Rosier County or Rosary Precinct, we have 5 PCs. That's how many there. But we've got so much more Democrats and Libertarians that are there. And so each one of them is responsible for 125. So even if they went through that, if all of a sudden you had more than 125 on a page, then that's a red flag and immediately will be looked at. And so that's the reason why we sat down and we need to be responsible in showing it. I wouldn't have a problem at all having the Democrats, the Republicans, and the Libertarians. We all meet at a central location. Everybody can come in and can watch all of us count those ballots in front of everybody. And then if we wanted to, we could just switch right there and recount it and have the Democrats count mine. I count the Libertarians and the Libertarians counted the Democrats, or any other combination.
But wouldn't that be something like the audit board does that at Maricopa County after the election? But are you saying that when the Republican counts his 125, he may have Republicans that voted democratically and Republicans that voted party line? So the 125, are you counting just the ballots or how they
No.
voted?
So you're going to count how they voted, but again, you're not going to know who voted because you're not going to have a list of the people there. They're going to come in and they're going to drop their ballot inside the box.
Yeah.
I don't know what order it is or anything else, and nor do I care. And I can even shuffle them up if we wanted to. So I pull them out, we shuffle them like a deck of cards so that nobody knows, who voted what, and then we just start counting them. But a hand count is something that I think we need to go to, and any tallying machines that we have need to be disbanded and done away with. We have found way too much evidence that they are compromised due to USB ports on the machines themselves, being able to connect to Wi-Fi. And then also just recently, we've got a corporation called Connect. And Connect is now, the CEO has been arrested, and evidence is now showing that all of the ballot information was offloaded from the United States to China. And so China now has, our election system has been compromised. Another thing too is that it's also starting to be revealed that our military computer has also, and our military stuff has been compromised as well. So this is something that's very serious in what we're trying to do.
We're running short on the time. Could we get you to talk more about your information for your campaign? How people can get in touch with you? And,
absolutely. You can go to my website, which is www.jeffzink. That's Z as in zebra, INK, the number 4, or not number 4, but for Congress, FOR, and it's .com. So jeffzink4congress.com. Go there. You can take a look at it. I've got 15 first day bills that are midway down the first page. We also have a place that you can donate. And then you can also turn around and shoot me an email or anything else that you need to do if you're asking questions. And I'll be more than happy to respond and let you know what's going on.
So you didn't have to spell out dot, right?
No, you don't have to spell out dot. So it's jeffzink4congress.com.
Thought I'd put that one in there. And what about volunteers, door knockers? How do you?
Absolutely. There's a volunteer page on there as well. You can hit volunteer, fill out the information, and we will reach out. And we got phone banking. We have door knocking. We can do, there's ballot or not ballot stuffing, but the golden tickets. We can stuff the golden tickets so that we can hand those out to people so that they know how to vote. The great thing about it is that I've got Democrats crossing the road, coming to talk to me and asking me what am I doing, and then finding out that I'm a Republican and that I'm actually a congressional candidate. And then I'm having great conversations with hard Democrats that have never voted for the Republican Party before, are saying that they're going to vote for me, and especially since they met me, they're voting. So the great thing is that God's moving in front of everybody. He's changing the hearts of people, and we're going to have a red wave in CD3.
Yeah. What about there are impressions about the border, the inflation, the gas? I mean, if they vote Democrat, they're voting for the same old thing. Isn't that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, and some of the things that are contrary or the contrast between Ruben and I. Ruben lives in a gated community, but has voted 100% for open borders. Ruben is a veteran who has voted 100% of the time to take away our Second Amendment rights. So he's violated his military oath of office. And the other thing too is that he wants to bring a bill that has been passed in Colorado, California, New York, New Jersey, and Illinois, where they can kill a child 28 days after it's been born. So, I mean, we're talking no longer my body, my choice. We're talking about
Murder.
infanticide, where they're killing children 28 days after they've been born. So
That's
this
ridiculous.
is stuff that has to be stopped. And if you're voting Democrat, you're voting for a party of death, and that
Yep.
seems to be their main thing. And so what I want to do is I want to show that we have Christian morals and values, and that's what I stand for. And I want to be able to bring that together and talk to the Hispanic men and say that we need to work together so that you can be successful to take care of your family. And and that means no ethnicity. That goes straight across the board with every man that it has a family, a wife, and kids and stuff that he wants to take care of them. I want to be able to provide a job that they can actually do something and take care of their family. It's up to them. It's not up to government.
And you'll be readily acceptable, or they can reach you, right? If you were elected a congressman.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that really aggravates me about Ruben is that I have reached out to him through phone calls. I've reached out as far as emails, and all I get is canned emails and no response from his office whatsoever. You know, one of the promises that I'm going to make is that I'm actually going to reach out and talk to people when I come back from Washington D.C. What's going to happen is on Sunday or Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock, I will be at some location there with coffee with a congressman, where I'm going to answer questions for an hour and a half directly to the people in Congressional District 3. And I think it's very important that they understand what my last week, what we voted on, what's going on, but more importantly, what's coming up next week. And then if they have any concerns, then I can take those to Washington, D.C. on a regular basis. And that way I'm representing them.
So you'll be readily accessible. That's the
Yes.
word. Okay. Could you give them the information again on your website and how they can
Absolutely.
contribute?
Absolutely. So you can go to Jeff Zink, Z as in zebra, INK, forcongress.com/donate. And that's to donate. You can go to just jeffzink4congress.com and then look around at all the different ones. You know, I've got a really great web designer. Eric's done a great job. I've really enjoyed, working with him. I always give him a hard time, but when you look at my website, it's very well professionally done, and it has a lot of information that people can take a look at, and it also lets them know, what I stand for, what I believe, which is, God-fearing, Bible-believing, conservative values that, I'm not interested in climate change. I'm interested in making sure that we lower the electric bill, not triple it, like the Green New Deal will do. And this is all, a part of it. And just letting the Latino families know they can trust somebody that has the same values that they do.
Well, thank you very much for coming on our show. The Chips and Salsa show has been very privileged to have you on our show. And hopefully we'll do it again before the election comes to an end on November the 8th. We'll invite you again. Maybe we'll do it either a Zoom or in person. And we'll let the people know how far you've gotten ahead and what other things you might want to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things is right now, I've had two polls come out. One of them showing that I'm 10 to 12 points ahead of Ruben. The other one was 230 Democrats that were polled using phones. And in that, they were all hard Democrats, and 57% of them said they were going to vote for me, and only 23 were going to vote for 23% were going to vote for Ruben, and the rest was split up between undecided and refused to answer the questions. So the thing is that the polling is starting to show that I'm pulling ahead, and that's all because of the Democrats, agenda and their platform, which is not helping anybody at all. You have more money than month, and we need to make sure that that's stopped. That we need to start having more money than month. So that would
So
be a
let's-
nice change.
So let's keep knocking on those doors every day, and let's make it because you have 150 to 200 doors per day. Let's if anybody out there wants to contribute, volunteer, look up that website, www.jeffzink. What was the other?
It's jeffzink4congress.com.
forcongress.com.
Yeah.
Go to that website, volunteer, join that fantastic group of people knocking on doors, passing out the golden ticket. This is one of them here. You could take it in the polling booth with you. It has write-in candidates, so you have your write-in candidate, and it has the propositions on the other side. So get your golden ticket, and if not, just speak to Jeff Zink or speak to some of his volunteers and ask them questions, and let's get on board. Jeff Zink for Congress.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Jorge, and thanks to you for Chips and Salsa having me on.
Thank you. Thank you.
You bet.